guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Brothas Perspective. I'm Kenny Steele. This is Brother Kyle, and today we are reviewing the film Get Out. Now, of course, we're going to be reviewing Jordan Peele's movie Us, and that's going to be his second horror film, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But this is his directorial debut. That's right. Who would have thought a comedian would have came up with something as scary and as trippy and as funky, psychedelic?
Yeah, it was definitely different.
It was different.
It kind of reminded me of the Stepford Wives a little bit.
Oh, it really is. It's kind of a trippy film, man. But it has so many
body snatchers.
Yeah. So many subliminal messages, and just kind of interwoven. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just kind of entities in it. It's actually a trippy film, but
I has really its funny moments too, though.
Yeah, it has its funny moments, but it's such a standout film. It's funny, it's psychological, it's suspenseful, it's a thriller. It kind of clicks on all cylinders. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Really dope film. So, of course, we're going to get to what we liked about the film, what kind of really attached us and, kind of draw us to the film. And, of course, it's Jordan Peele. You know what I'm saying? Of the hit series, Key and Peele. If you did not know, he also did some work on Mad TV, if I'm not mistaken. He started out... He's not sure. He started... I thought Kyle knew, but he ain't hip. No, I'm kidding. But he started out as a sketch comedy writer. From what I've heard from interviews, it's kind of like comedy and horror kind of tick the same boxes. Yeah. Like, they're on the same beach, just except one's right, one's left, one's red, one's blue, that kind of deal. And it's just, all kind of just fit together. And this is the crazy story about Chris. This movie stars Daniel Kaluuya. I don't know the guy's last name. I really wish.
Daniel Kaluuya. You said it right.
But Daniel Kaluuya. I know Daniel Kaluuya stars in it. Also, this is Lil Rel's, I believe, film debut. If I'm not mistaken. Well, he had a cameo in Barbershop too. But this is a story about Daniel Kaluuya going to visit his girlfriend's parents for the first time.
And his girlfriend's white. Yeah, that's the main thing,
Yeah.
So there's like a little racial tension, but they make light of it,
Yeah. It's kind of, it has a bunch of racial undertones. That was the word I was searching for.
Yeah, undertones.
Oh yeah, it's just a bunch of racial undertones, and it's kind of one of those things to where if anybody's ever been, it doesn't matter if black, white, blue, green, or orange. If you've ever been the only person of your ethnicity or skin color, for that matter, and you're that only person in the room, and it's just always, people always have to deal with, me and you can speak for it, the uncomfortable jokes, the little undertones where people try to make you comfortable, but then making you comfortable, you always feel uncomfortable and unease and stuff.
Little snippets, like they might say something like when the lady came up and fell. Chris in the movie,
so his bisexual, wow, or they, the usual tones. It was like, wow, you're so well spoken. Who would have thought? You speak so well.
Yeah, and for us, it's like, how else am I supposed to speak?
It's not. I mean, everybody, and this is definitely one of those things where everybody's different, but Chris's attributes, Daniel Kaluuya's character, his attributes are specific for this one party, and this is a specific gathering for this one party. And man, do the racial undertones really hit? It's so many metaphors. You just go, oh my god.
Yeah,
how did they get away with
it? Speaking about metaphor, and the thing is, stuff like that happens in real life, but not to this degree. You might walk in a room or walk away from a room and it gets quiet, so you feel that little tension in the room or something. But in this, they just made it downright creepy.
Yeah. It was so creepy and so suspenseful, and just the story is this story. As we're kind of, trying to get everything wrapped up back together about what we like. This story is really just about his, Chris visiting his girlfriend's parents over the weekend, and it's just a nice, elaborate party. And I believe they've only been dating for a short while. So, and our parents,
about 6 months. That's what they said.
And to his belief, you know, her parents doesn't know that he's black.
Yes.
So, you know, he automatically just kind of feels some tension.
Yeah.
He automatically, you know, just kind of feels, you know, he's not at ease. And he's just kind of feeling like, all right, well, this is going to be my introduction. I hope this goes well. And she comes from an established background, an established family. You know, they're kind of blue blood, you know, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of one of those things where you're just kind of just sitting in that party and you're just kind of like...
I mean, but it is tension all the way around because, you know, when they first pull up to the house looks like something like a plantation house.
Yeah.
And then the black people that he does see is servants, you know. You know, so it's like, and then you know to come clean or try to make them feel comfortable. The dad's like, hey, you know, I would have voted for Obama a third time, you know, like stuff like that, and you hear stuff like that all the time.
It's always people trying to force you to feel comfortable or trying their most to make you feel comfortable. Of course, unintentionally, of course, no harm, no foul. But it's always one of those things that make you feel uncomfortable, and it just doesn't make the situation worse. And the thing that's so funny, Jordan Peele, you know, who's in an interracial marriage, has said he's many times been the only black guy in the room, and it's just that tension, that underlying tension that's just kind of just, you know, you're not meant to feel uncomfortable, but you feel uncomfortable. And it's just, and he just added all those aspects and all those elements and just really kind of made this fantasy just thriller. And kind of just gets you just kind of on it, you know.
But the thing about the movie, and which is like true in life, is like when you make color known. You know, like little comments or, you know, like the things we were saying, like, oh, you're so well spoken. When you make it known, that's where the uncomfortability comes in to play.
Or they do this, oh wow, you know, you're so clean cut. You look well, and they just look at you, oh, no tattoos. Wow, that's surprising. And then they do this. How old are you?
The funny part is the backgammon game.
Oh,
where they all just stopped and stared like it was like a NBA game or something.
It was really weird.
Then they start clapping when he picked up the game so quickly. He scored. It was like, let's applaud, you know.
Oh my god, it was really ridiculous. Like even and one of the creepy guys I realized was the younger brother.
Oh yeah,
because he was just so feisty and so testy. You know, he was really just kind of out to prove like, oh, are you as good as they say you are? Are your reflexes good? You did judo. How much of an athlete are you? Let's really test that. It was just kind of one of those things like, dude, just chill. But it was, you could tell everything they were talking about and doing was always such a test. It was just kind of like, and if you really go back to those old slave trade days, like that's what people did, you know. How high can the boy jump? How fast can he run? How strong is he? How good is his reflexes? How smart is he? Can he read or can he write? And that wasn't really direct, but it was so many just little undertones.
Honestly, it might have been direct though, because they actually had a slave trade in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it might have.
They had a trade in the movie, man. But it was just like but you know what? What was crazy about the film? It took so many baby steps.
It
and
did.
This is one of those films I really like about this movie. This is one of those films you watch multiple times, and you see different little nuances. You pick up on different little scenarios, and it all looks different each time you watch it.
I definitely picked up on different things each time I watched it. You know,
it's crazy, man. So many metaphors, bro.
Like, you know, like one was the cotton come out the chair when they tied him up and everything, and how he used it to save his life, and
or the one that they had. The one they have, you know, with just with him being in the sunken place and being lost, and how he can just really see everything. And you know, and he's just, even though he's supposed to be a passenger in that vessel, he could see how everything was going on, and it was just like, you know, this is a dude lost and his mind is elsewhere. It was just a complete crazy undertone.
And another one that was so simple that went over my head was when they got pulled over by the cop. You know, I'm was thinking,
that was the best one.
You know, I'm just thinking, you know, like, oh, this girl's
down.
Yeah,
like, she got right way back.
Yeah,
she a rider. She like, yo, you ain't gonna mess with my man.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, bro, we'll go ahead. You
so basically, the officer pulled her over. She was driving, but he asked to see Daniel Kaluuya's ID.
Yeah.
You know, and she got defensive. You know, which any girl should for her man, but really, you know, they were harvesting the black people, you know what I'm saying? So she just didn't want a paper trail, you know? So
she didn't want a paper trail. She knew eventually he would come up missing, and she didn't want the cop to put two and two together.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, man. It was really crazy. And you know what? The girlfriend, Jesus, we really had better with names. The girlfriend, this girl right here. The chick from Girls. That's how I really know her. But she did such a good job really teetering on that line.
Yeah.
Because you don't really know where her loyalty stands until that moment to where, you know, the keys jingle and it's like...
Yeah.
And you're just like, whoa.
I kind of knew with the closet, you know, after he found...
After he found everything in the
pictures
closet.
in the closet where she had, like, pictures of just different black dudes.
Oh, yeah. And the thing about it was, though, she was so... But the only thing that kind of saved me was that she was so defiant towards her parents.
Yeah.
She was kind of, don't do this, don't do that. She was really comforting. How do you feel? What's going on? This and that. And then, you know, you're right. You see the pictures. But it's the crazy thing to me is that, you know, she seems so concerned and so invested in putting them at ease and making them feel comfortable. And then, you know, next thing you know, it's just that switch. Like, even just the small metaphor that you talked about before, when he was like, your dad's not going to, you know, be chasing y'all in the yard with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the movie, she's the one that's actually chasing him with a gun.
Yeah.
So it was just really crazy. Even the whole thing with, you know, and talking about the body snatching and the sunken place stuff. Like, you know, the two actors that, you know, played the nanny and, you know, the little woodshop guy, the caretaker.
Yeah.
It was crazy, like, you know, the people coming to greet them, see them, because obviously, you know, their bodies are lost, and they're taken over by the people, of course, and it's just like seeing old friends, and you just like even at the when you see Keith Stansfield character.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes in with the, you know, he's all dressed up and he has the suit and he's showing off his body to everybody else. And they're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Man, honestly.
And it was just like the craziest auction, man, like I've ever seen.
In real life, though, I've been out.
Another highlight of this one, we gotta mention, the highlight of this film is Lil Rel Lowry, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I did not know much about Rel. You know what I'm saying? To that moment, it wasn't even until after I found out about his comedy specials and, you know, him doing stuff with Shaq All-Star Comedy Jam and stuff. But he really stole this movie. Like, really.
He kept it 100. That, like, Lil Rel, I feel like that'd have been my personality.
Oh, yeah, 100%, bro, 100%. Because it was just like, he didn't trust a girl from the get-go. It wasn't the fact that he didn't trust her. It was just like, his homeboy was alone, going to visit this girl's parents, and everything just felt, you know, uneasy. It just kind of just felt a little weird. Yeah. I mean, you start off hitting the deer and the cops pull you over. Things are already on the right track. You know what I'm saying? And his homeboy was looking out for him. He was like, nah, bro, I'm going to be here. Yeah. You call if you need anything. And his homeboy didn't call. And he was like, you know what, man? We got to check this out.
Man, you know, the funny thing is, he went around announcing like he TSA, like he a detective or FBI or something. He was like, I just want to announce I'm TSA. What's TSA got to do with a missing person? You know,
bro. What does TSA had to do with going around finding people? You know what I'm saying? And taking a whole, you know, squad car.
He was serious about his job. His job went outside of TSA.
Went outside of TSA. Man, really want to be a detective.
Yeah,
man.
He was funny.
Shout out to Rel. Rel was so damn funny.
Yeah, it was.
And it was, you know, it was. So, but you know what? It's what I really liked about it too, is because like just so many. It was grounded in reality too. Yeah. Even though this is a movie of fantasy and it's kind of, you know, it's very fictional, it was grounded in so much like just, you know, our culture's reality. Because how many times we've seen that, it's like, yo, don't go to that damn door.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yo, dude is tripping. Or somebody say something, you be like, what? Like, you just say that, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And to me, one of the scenes that stole this movie, man, is when he told, he talked about Lakeith Stanfield's character just tripping out on him.
Yeah.
They had the flash, he's tripping out.
Yeah.
He's yelling at him, get out, and yelling at him. And he's like, yo, which honestly, by the way, I'd have left after that.
Exactly.
I'd have left after that, bro. I'd be like, yo, man, I gotta get up out of here, bro. This weekend's too weird. But with all that being said, he tells, Rail's character.
Walking though.
Bro, for real. But you know what? That's funny because Lakeith Stanfield's character was literally walking in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Remember, he felt everything was too creepy.
Yeah.
It was too weird.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, man, I'm out. I gotta go. He made up some lie. And he was just walking down the street.
Yeah.
And as he was walking down the street, next a car pulled up on him and just straight up choked him out.
Yeah.
Choked him out, put him in the trunk, and it was just like, nah, man, you coming with us. So I mean, so we've already even had that, idea, and I'm so glad Jordan Peele played that at the beginning of the movie to be like, yeah, we thought pretty much everything brothers would have done. You know what I'm saying? But it was so funny when he told when Chris told Rail's character about what was going on in the film, and he was like, no, just look dude up, because I could have sworn dude looked familiar. I think I know this cat. And he looked him up and he saw he was a missing person. Immediately just had a black reaction automatically. He was like, ooh, I knew that bitch was lying. I knew she was lying. I never trust that bitch. Oh my God. And I was just like, bruh, I was thinking the exact same thing. The exact same thing, bro. I'm like, this is trippy, bro. This movie is so great, man.
Yeah, man. And I'm not even one for horror films, but
Now, I'm not a horror movie guy either.
Yeah, but this one, is a must watch. It's a must watch.
It was one of those films that you say, and especially it's crazy from a first time director like Jordan Peele, which again, I'm pretty sure he directed some scenes, during his run with Mad TV. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he directed some stuff, especially, with Key and Peele, him being such a great writer and all this other stuff. But to tackle another genre and have so many metaphors, such great acting, and it was such a small, intimate film. It felt very indie. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it felt like a very good indie film, and it was one of those things that were this story more from a small idea and a slight nightmare, just kind of morphed into this reality. Yeah, and it was crazy how it just kind of everything just kind of stood. Subtle steps and just kind of fell in line. And it was from a first time director and just everything from the score and the music matching up and so much foreshadowing too. Yeah. I mean, even the and metaphors when he he hit the deer and it turned out he had to end up using the deer to kind of escape and save his life. The small little metaphor where they talk about how the grandmother designed the kitchen, and to honor her, they keep a small little piece of her just in the kitchen, and you're not even really knowing. They talk about the nanny, the nanny's the grandma, that was crazy. When he was talking about how his grandfather, did track and cross country and ran with Jesse Owens in college, and if I'm not mistaken, and now he's in this black body and he's constantly just running. And sprinting, and he's doing whatever he can to beat Jesse's time. Yeah. And it's just like, dude, that's so creepy. But it's just like it's so creepy, but it's not absurd. That's the crazy
well put
thing.
Together. It wasn't forced.
It wasn't forced. It ran really smooth. You know what I'm saying? And it's hypothetical, but it's still not outside the realm of reality, even though it's fictional and a fantasy. It was crazy. I really, really dug this film. And for a first-time director, and I would like to say, man, honestly, I think it is cool that we have guys like Jordan Peele, like Ryan Coogler, Stephen Cable Jr., all these guys are first-time directors, holding, either, and they're making intimate indie films and flipping it to be something on a grander, larger scale, bro. And it's dope. Extremely dope. I'm for one, I'm just like, man, we're in a good time. We're making movies, man.
I believe so.
It's what I'm saying. Even though we're having the big blockbusters, such like your Netflix and your Hulu's, all these big studios, Warner Brothers and Marvel and Disney. It's nice to see that these small, independent indie films can be just as good as these mega blockbusters. And not only that, but just the storytelling and the undertones and the metaphors. Are so smart and witty. You know what I'm saying? Everybody will probably watch, an Avengers film, or they'll watch, the little Batmans and the Supermans, or if you're going for a film, you'll watch the new version that's like a Shawshank or the new version of a Green Mile and this and that. But it's nice to see, and even though those are big films, it's nice to see that smaller directors can get intimate films and personal films that create such a great story.
And it's good to just see something new, something that's not
a
remake.
Yeah. And this he actually won a bid for an Oscar for original screenplay. And like you said, it's new.
Yeah. So I'm definitely excited about Us now. So I definitely want to see.
What do you think of Jordan Peele as a director?
Oh man, I think so far. I mean, this is the only thing I know him for. I'm not big into like directors and everything. I just watch the movie. If it's good to me, it's good to me. And that movie was really good, and it was really creative, really creative. So I mean, he did an excellent job, and I could tell he put a lot of thought into it. And there's a lot of Easter eggs and everything like that. Things that I wouldn't have known if I didn't watch the film on repeat. If you get me to watch a film on repeat, I know it's good. I know it's good. So
yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, I mean, even with those big movies, like you'll watch those maybe a couple of times, but of course you know what's going to happen. You kind of pick up a couple of things. This film totally changes your perspective from a second and a third viewing, and maybe even a fourth. Yeah. It's crazy.
And the funny thing is, I watched the film on repeat the second time around just to see the alternate ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought it when it came out, and I wanted to see the deleted scenes and the alternate ending and everything. And so I mean, I caught so much stuff like you were saying with just like the driver's license thing, or just different things, the metaphors and everything like that. And I was just like, man,
slave auction,
and then so I had to watch it again. Like I might be with my sister or somebody else, and I'm like, hey, have you seen this movie? And if they'll say, nah, I'll just let me put it on again, So, I mean, this is definitely must watch. I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the last time I watch it,
Now, I was unfamiliar, until this film, I was unfamiliar with Daniel Kaluuya's work, but you knew.
Yeah.
You know from his so.
I watched Skins. He played a character called Posh Kenneth. And so anything that Daniel Kaluuya does, I have to watch it,
Right.
Yeah.
What did you think about his performance in this movie? Because I know Skins was like more of a teen drama.
Yeah.
It's like a film.
Honestly, I forgot. In Skins he was so comedic. It was, and he was British. And a lot of people didn't even know he's British. And so honestly, if you're a good actor, sometimes you just forget. Like, and for me, I forgot that he was British. Literally, I forgot that he was British. Like, I forgot about Posh Kenneth. It was basically Chris in this movie. So, I mean, Daniel Kaluuya did a great job.
And he really sold this movie, man. Like, I mean, this movie's not just, it's just not just a metaphor, but it's completely from his perspective.
Yeah.
And I mean, and some things are just kind of wild. Yeah. Some things are kind of uncomfortable. But I don't think he did anything that wasn't realistic.
Yeah.
He reacted, pretty sure, but you could tell he was trying to keep his composure. But everything he sold, from from his look to his confusion to to his hesitation, everything he sold, you just knew from the beginning. From the moment he found out that her parents didn't know he was black.
Yeah.
Everything from that moment, he was just uncomfortable.
And that's the question, really, like, you've been...
Yeah, in the beginning, 6 months.
Honestly, in the beginning, that's a question you're going to ask. Hey, if I'm about to meet somebody and they're not of your race, they're going to be like, hey, your parents know I'm black, And that's just a honest goodness question.
And man, he sold everything so well. And it was just like most people, how they get freaked out or be in certain places, like, you could really tell he was freaked out. He was hesitant. He was, to a degree, he was a little scared and trippy. But you could tell that he was actually trying so hard to really just,
get through that weekend.
Just to get through that weekend. Like, if I can just get through that weekend, if they like me, if we have a good rapport, everything will be fine. Yeah. And you could really tell to a degree, like even at the end, they have the finale, and him and the girl reach that ultimate little climax and everything. You could tell he really cared about this girl. Like, he really cared about this girl. Like, he wanted to make it work. And to me, it wasn't him just being, a black guy. He was just a regular guy, trying to make this situation work. Because he's been with this girl for 6 months, and even to a degree felt that he was, falling for this girl.
Yeah.
And it was just like, he was trying to really make it work, but it was just, you could tell it was too much, and it was just kind of just, it was trippy, bro. Like, it was just like, man.
I mean, he better than me. He stuck it out.
Yeah, he stuck it out. He stuck it out for a little while, man.
Yeah.
And I think that plays to, most people just see a black guy, kind of in the film, but to me, that kind of spoke to his, just any person's ideas, personalities, strong will, because he was just really trying to be like, look, man, I'm gonna try to make it through this weekend. We're gonna make it work, so I'm gonna do this and that, like it's me and this girl, we're gonna, it's gonna be all right. And then it was just like, everything just kept going left. And and that to me, that kind of just spoke to his humanity overall, man. So if you had to give this film a grade, what would you give it? Out of 5 stars, what would you give it? You know what?
I'm gonna say, like horror is not my genre.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say 4 out of 5. I was gonna say 3.5 out of 5, but you know what, Lil Rel, the comedy mixed with the scary, I give it a 4 out of 5.
I'm not a horror fan, but I grew up watching a lot of horror. Yeah. To me, this wasn't really a downright horror film.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a downright horror.
It really did feel like, but it did feel like a thriller.
Yeah.
Now, a horror film, you don't need, they'll probably add a little blood, gore, and guts and stuff like that, which it didn't need all that. But a psychological thriller, something that keeps you on the edge, I'll put it, it's kind of weird to say. So, as a horror movie, I would probably give it a 3 out of 5. Mm. But as a psychological thriller, like, it's probably a 4.5 out of 5. Probably, no, scratch that. It's probably a 5 out of 5. Because it's so smart. Like, I mean, I don't want to be pandering and be like, this movie's the greatest movie ever. Like, as a horror movie, it's really not like a great horror movie. Yeah. But as a psychological thriller, this is a type of movie that every scene keeps you on the edge like this. Yeah. And you're really waiting to see what's next. They used jump scares, but they really didn't need it. They, used little scare tropes, but they really didn't need it. Because psychologically, there's nothing worse than what's already in your imagination. Yeah. When that person does that slow walk into that dark room and it's kind of quiet and the sound goes out and it's just kind of pitch and you only hear nothing but the footsteps. Your imagination is already running and it's going to be worse than anything you could think of. And they kept doing that. Yeah. They kept you there. They kept making you know that it was just such a slow burn. You just kept imagining what's next and what was about to happen. It's like, oh man, I hope he really gets out. No pun intended. And it's just kind of one of those things. So yeah, so I guess as a straight up movie, just not one. I guess I gotta give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, it's such a smart film.
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I kind of wanted more. I want to know more about the sunken place. I don't know if this is in theaters or not. Maybe it's just the part I bought. There was like little flashes of a skull. Mm-hmm. It was like I don't know what. It was some type of animal skull. I wanted to know.
I think it was like a deer or something like that.
It was a deer skull?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, well, that makes even more sense now. Because before I was just wondering, I wanted to know about that skull, and then, I just want to know what happened at the end, because there's a bunch of dead bodies. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of dead bodies and a house on fire. Yeah, I really want to know. So that's why I said I wanted more. So that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I think this film would really be great as a prequel to kind of give more in depth. Because this is when we say small and intimate, this is what's great about this film. You really don't need a lot. Yeah. And the story pretty much writes itself and tells itself. But watching this film, you do want to know more of these elements, how they came about, how they came to play. A prequel of this film would be fantastic. But, it's just like, Or,
well, you can.
But so go back to know how the family got it.
To
know how the family got there and they started doing these things and how all this other stuff developed would be insane, especially given, the parents and their situation, how this came to be. Yeah. Not only that, I mean, to me, because I was even thinking with the husband, because, his family started all this. How the hell do you get a crazy female hypnotist to join this psycho world ward family to kind of just do some crazy stuff like that? That was to me like I mean, what girl could you date and be like, oh, by the way, we own a plantation in Connecticut. We come from a lot of money. We got $1 billion. And by the way, we also run a small little cult that takes over, the body section.
Like minds flock together, like you'll have.
She's probably in the clique with all those black cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, like minds flock together. You got people that. Say they come together, they might bomb something, but how you get bombers that come together? Like
it's true,
like mine.
Because there was so many people that came up to that thing together, and that auction.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like cults.
Even that metaphor where they all showed up at the same time in black SUVs to be like for a metaphor, like we're driving these black people, these black vessels. Like it's like that. Smart. We told you, but. You got our grade. Let us know in the comments what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, I'm Kenny Steele. This is Brother Kyle. And hit that notification button. You want to hit that bell. Hit that bell right there. It's, so you can know whenever we're popping up new videos. Any video pops up, boom, you got the notification. You can watch, you can comment, you can let us know. Hell, we'll probably chat it up with you in the comments. Just let us know. Keep it clean, though. Keep it clean. Nice people like to have conversations with nice people.
And also check out our social media. It's gonna be somewhere up here.
They're probably up here, down there,
somewhere.
But you can, of course, you can.
Okay, down in the corner. Yeah.
But you can follow us on Instagram at Brothas Perspective. You can follow us on Twitter at Brothas Perspective, and you can follow me at kendawgdmft on Twitter and Instagram. Until then, like, share, subscribe. But also, we'll see you soon. Peace.